Welcome to this video on microeconomics. We will journey through the evolution of microeconomic thought, from the Marginal Revolution to modern behavioral insights and their policy applications. We begin with Chapter 1, the birth of microeconomic thought. Microeconomics emerged in the late 19th century as a distinct field. It shifted from classical economics' focus on national wealth to a detailed analysis of individual choices. Core questions centered on how prices are determined, what drives consumer behavior, and how firms optimize production. The Marginal Revolution began with William Stanley Jevons' concept of marginal utility in 1871. He argued that the value of a good depends on the additional satisfaction from consuming one more unit. This insight challenged the classical labor theory of value and fundamentally changed how we understand consumer choices. Karl Menger, a leader of the Austrian school, emphasized subjective value theory. Value is determined by individual preferences, not inherent properties. Menger's work established a sophisticated theory of price formation and laid the groundwork for consumer behavior analysis. Walras introduced the general equilibrium theory. He formulated the first rigorous mathematical model demonstrating how all markets simultaneously reach equilibrium. This framework is crucial for understanding market interdependence and resource allocation efficiency. The Marginal Revolution was a paradigm shift. These three brilliant minds, working independently across Europe, simultaneously discovered the power of marginal analysis, fundamentally transforming economic thought. Chapter 2 covers the rise of Neoclassical microeconomics. Alfred Marshall's 1890 work, Principles of Economics, provided a grand synthesis of classical and marginalist ideas. He introduced essential analytical tools like supply and demand curves, elasticity, and consumer surplus, defining microeconomics for decades. In the early 20th century, attention shifted to the theory of the firm. Economists detailed cost structures and production functions. Later, Joan Robinson and Edward Chamberlain introduced concepts like imperfect and monopolistic competition, moving analysis beyond idealized perfect markets. John Hicks advanced consumer choice theory. He developed the indifference curve analysis, a graphical tool for optimal choices. His work and the revealed preference theory remain fundamental for microeconomic teaching and policy analysis today. Marshall's legacy provided the analytical framework that transformed economics from philosophical discourse into a rigorous science. Chapter 3 explores behavioral and institutional economics. Behavioral economics challenged the rational agent model. Herbert Simon introduced bounded rationality, where decisions are limited by capacity. Kahneman and Tversky developed prospect theory, showing that people weigh losses more heavily than gains, integrating psychological realism into economic models. Institutional economics, pioneered by Douglas North and Oliver Williamson, highlighted how institutions, like laws and norms, shape economic outcomes and transaction costs. This understanding helps explain market failures and provides a foundation for public policy addressing externalities and asymmetry. Behavioral economics humanized economic models, recognizing that economics is about people, with all their quirks, biases, and beautiful irrationality. Chapter 4 focuses on key microeconomic policies and their development. Antitrust and competition policy began with the 1890 Sherman Act to prevent monopolies. This policy evolved throughout the 20th century, guided by microeconomic theory on market power. Today, it addresses 21st century challenges like market dominance by digital tech giants. Microeconomic theory guides price controls and regulation, such as minimum wage laws, balancing efficiency and equity. It also informs rent controls, considering supply-side responses, and utility regulation, preventing natural monopolies from exploiting consumers. Microeconomics explains market failures concerning public goods and externalities like pollution. Policy solutions include Pigouvian taxes and tradable permit systems. Pioneering work by Arthur Pigou and Ronald Coase established the theories for corrective taxation and property rights solutions. In Microeconomics in Action, theory meets practice as insights shape policies that balance market efficiency with social justice. Chapter 5 explores modern microeconomic research and policy applications. Empirical microeconomics focuses on causal inference through randomized controlled trials and natural experiments. This evidence-based approach, pioneered by Nobel laureates Duflo, Banerjee, and Creamer, rigorously tests and improves policies in areas like health and education. Market design and mechanism theory, innovated by Alvin Roth and Lloyd Shapley, uses microeconomic theory to solve real-world allocation problems, such as medical residency matching and kidney exchange networks, where prices alone are insufficient. Behavioral policy interventions, or nudges, leverage insights into human behavior. Richard Thaler's work shows how simple mechanisms, like auto-enrollment in retirement plans or energy usage feedback, can improve outcomes without limiting choice. The future of microeconomic policy lies in combining rigorous empirical methods, behavioral insights, and market design to create evidence-based solutions for societal challenges. Chapter 6 discusses the ongoing debate, microfoundations and macroeconomic linkages. The central question of microfoundations is how individual behavior aggregates to produce macroeconomic outcomes like GDP and inflation. Recent advances, especially from behavioral economics, are helping to bridge the theoretical divide between Keynesian and neoclassical views. Microeconomics plays a crucial role in economic growth and development by shaping policies on innovation, human capital, and financial markets. Development economists like Amartya Sen and Joseph Stiglitz have integrated these micro and macro perspectives to address global poverty. In conclusion, microeconomics has a rich history and powerful theory that explains market outcomes. It guides policies promoting efficiency, equity, and sustainable growth, addressing challenges from poverty to climate change. Understanding microeconomics empowers better decisions for a fairer, more prosperous world.